If I make a mistake on security, blank will never know his father.
But I mean, how concerned are you about your safety? Dealing, I mean, you are a wanted man.
Take away your guns.
Wait, what is happening, bro? Elon Musk's baby mama, Ashley St. Clair, included her text messages with him in the paternity lawsuit she filed on Friday, seeking a paternity test and full custody of their son. Hi, cutie. I see you soon. I want to knock you up again. Jesus. I get credible death threats every day. I'm number 2 after Trump for assassination. Wake up. This is not the time for sentiment at the expense of safety. If I make a mistake on security, blank will never know his father. That's why the father spot on his birth certificate is a blank right now, and why he has my last name. Necessary for now. Only the paranoid survive. I understand. Apologies if this text upset you. The threat level will reach insane levels until the election is decided. Loose lips sink ships. Bro, he's on some like permanent K trip. He's like K-holed into another dimension. I think permanently. This guy is the richest guy in the world? What the f? Threat level midnight. Shut up. Don't worry. At least it's on Signal, so we know there's no possible way these text messages would ever get anywhere. Jesus Christ. Here's the full filing of Ashley St. Clair against Elon. I mean, is there anything interesting there? It just seems like it's going to be about the custody shit. I feel like, I mean, we've gone over this before. This happened with the Fresh and Fit stuff. Regardless of how much I hate Elon, I might think I hate this lady more. Like the idea of like using a kid to try to just like grab child support, it just seems super gross. Like, couldn't she have just paid or gotten Elon to pay her for like a huge abortion or some bullshit? I don't know. That's just, especially considering this woman was like one of Twitter's like #1 conservative posters. And it's like, really, you're going to be the 15th mom by this guy and collect child support off of it? Like using the kid to do it? That just seems super fucking gross. I don't know. But you know what? Who am I to say? Fuck it. This is red pill fuel. I mean, like, I don't know. Is it even a red pill fuel thing? Because I mean, it seems like Elon is choosing this. Like, it seems like he wants to. So Jesus. She has the kid and then sends him a picture and he says, all well? Oh no. He wasn't even there, I guess, because he's busy doing stuff, I guess. I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the DOGE update. Please welcome Newmax host, Rob Schmidt.
Why do you assume EU won't keep Ukraine in fight? Well, if the United States isn't willing to go along with sanctioning or punishing Russia, and if the United States doesn't provide any assistance, I think that Russia is emboldened a lot more to stay in that war. Also, I think that Russia is in a better position to bully Europe. It's not in the best position to bully the United States. Having the U.S. as your friend in that war is just so helpful. Dems need a patriotic identity to get behind, something that feels patriotic and pro-worker. Right-wingers are mega. Bro, I don't know how much of the video that I shot today will get released, but like, and I'm not even trashing any of the people that were there. These were all lovely, wonderful people, but it was like 20 people, I think, and they were all like pretty normie pilled. But like, it's hopeless. Like every single, there's just, it's an abundance of misinformation. I don't even know how you could possibly communicate with somebody. Like the topic of like alternative and mainstream media came up. And when, you know, the question is like, do you think that alternative media has been superior to corporate media? And when the other person's like, yeah, I mean, we can see that because look at how wrong corporate media got everything wrong about COVID and everything wrong about the vaxes. And it's like, okay, hold on. Like to even start on this conversation, like it's going to take an hour to even get to the question. Like, wait, what do you mean when you say that? So you think Joe Rogan was right about most of what he said about COVID and the vaxes? Like, you know that none of that, like basically none of what he said was right. Like, what do you mean when you say that? Or every single topic that came up, a lady did the J6 thing and she was like, I don't think Trump tried to incite a coup. There were federal agents on the ground that were instigating everything. We had a question where there were like 17 people on the other side and 2 on my side. And the question had to do with like, do you think DEI is horrible, basically? And I remember asking this out. I was like, I'm curious, can one person over there, can one of you name one DEI program? and not a single person knew anything. Nobody, but they all were on the strongly or like absolutely disagree with DEI. Like nobody even knew one DEI program. Like, wait, what are you even so mad about then? It's just like, it's an avalanche of disinformation and bullshit. And I have no idea how you're supposed to overcome that. Wait, is it a Jubilee? No, it was a Peter Boghossian thing. There was one other one. Oh, there was a thing. There was like 16 of them on the other side. And it had to do with like, do you think that the main reason why illegal immigrants came in under Biden was so that Biden could win the election? And by the end of this, I remember I just had a question for the other side. I was like, wait, okay, let's assume that this is true. How is it that when Biden was in office for 4 years, less people voted for Harris than for Biden? Did Trump bring in even more illegals to vote for Biden? How the fuck does that make sense? And then they switch arguments and like, well, Harris was just such a bad candidate. Harris was such a bad candidate that the illegal immigrants that you bust into the country to vote for her to bring in more illegals wouldn't vote for her. She was that bad of a candidate? What kind of an argument is that? That's an unhinged argument. Wait, what? Like, it's an insurmountable amount of misinformation that you have to get over. To even start to have the conversation. You don't need to name a DEI program to disagree with DEI in principle. No, you do need to name one because everybody agrees with DEI in principle. Every like sane, non-sociopathic, crazy fuck agrees with DEI in principle. If I were to say, hey, if I were to start a program in a community called like the Latino math tutor program or whatever for like some Latino community or whatever, no sane American human being, even the whitest whatever person, we're going, oh yeah, that's fine. Or like some nationwide tutoring program for African Americans who want to get into law. Like nobody would disagree with programs like this. And these are arguably DEI programs, right? But in everybody's mind, DEI is when you have a really good white man qualified for the job, but instead you kick him out and then you hire an unqualified, gender fluid, black trans athlete instead for the job. I was like, no, who the f is this? What programs are you even talking about that we're so upset about? Like, the fuck? No, not when it's pushed too far, Destiny. You're just wrong. You're not giving the fair example of how people took the ideas and then used them. No offense, my dude, but you have no idea about what it even means to push anything too far because you probably don't know anything about any of this. You're just going by what you've heard in the conservative media over and over and over and over and over again. Like, that's it. Like, it's too far. How do you know it's too far? Because I said, where did you see this on? Joe Rogan? Okay. Anybody else? Tim Pool? Okay. Who, like, people in government that talk about Trump? Okay. What's like an example of a DI program? It's just bad. Like, okay. Whatever, dude. He says, again, as an unelected bureaucrat. Explain the blackwashing of historical figures in TV shows and movies then. Oh, forgot when the government's DEI programs were funding Hollywood movies to make them all black and trans. My bad.
So,
That was something.
I am become meme.
Yeah. God, he's so freaking epic, dude. God, he's so freaking epic.
I am become meme.
A year ago, if someone had told you you'd be at CPAC and working with the president to absolutely shred the government, the swamp, whatever you want to call it, would you have ever believed that?
No.
No. Me neither.
But it's cool. This is awesome. And I just want to say, thanks for your support. I mean, you guys are, So, I mean, we're trying to get good things done, but also, have a good time doing it, and and have like a sense of humor, So, I mean, the sort of the left wanted to make comedy illegal, Like, you can't make fun of anything. So then it's like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like, legalize comedy. Yeah. Legalize comedy.
And we've...
Is he okay?
We've shifted the entire culture in just the last few months. The whole culture of this country has shifted dramatically just because of that election.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
freedom of speech, having fun again. It seems like we should have
Is he okay? Wait, is he? I wonder if he had like a drink or two before he went on stage.
speech. Yeah, exactly. Freedom of speech, having fun again. It seems like we should have a good time,
It's a great time. Everybody in this place is so excited. And when you talk to conservatives, everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And everybody feels this great sense of relief because we were going to hell for about 4 years. It really felt bad.
Yeah.
Especially toward the end, it felt really bad.
What? Prove it. Just prove it. What do you mean? What happened? What was going to hell by the end of Biden's 4th year? What do we mean by that? What the fuck?
Yeah, I thought we were sort of heading for a point of no return, really.
Yeah.
Until that's why it was so essential that President Trump win the election.
What drugs make people act like this? Elon is already kind of weird, so I have no idea. Cocaine, maybe? I don't know. I truly don't know. I have no idea.
So essential that President Trump win the election, and that there be a Republican majority in the House and Senate, which, thanks to you, that has been accomplished.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying ketamine because he does ketamine, but do people on ketamine act like this? Ketamine is a huge dissociative. Is that going to come out and make you like goofy and up all like this? I don't know. It feels like shitty cocaine or something. But I don't know. I'm not. Despite what people say, I'm not a drug professional. So.
I want to ask you, one of the biggest questions I have for you is, you've been, politically, you weren't really on one side or the other for a long time. You're a businessman. A lot of people, they stay away from it. Now you're on a side, and you've chosen a side. You're sitting here in a MAGA hat. What's it, how did that happen? What was the moment
Dark Gothic MAGA.
That's a good one. Was there a specific moment? Was there a moment that it all changed?
Yeah, when I realized I was a fool. But no, I was, I guess, I'd say I was politically neutral for quite a while. Leaning a little Democrat.
How do you go from that to this?
Yeah, no.
How does that happen?
Well,
did they go crazy?
Yeah, they did work. They did go crazy.
Yeah, they went crazy.
No, that whole cancel culture and it's trying to stop freedom of speech and infringe upon people's personal freedoms. They just want state control of what you say. They want to take away your guns.
Wait, what is happening, bro? Take away your guns.
They want to take away your guns. And the reason I want to take away your guns, so there's nothing you do to oppose them. So it's sort of like, I just like we just need to restore the fundamental elements of what made America great, which is freedom and opportunity.
We're seeing a lot of these freedoms disappearing in the West. It's not just about America. We're all watching Europe and knowing that they're about 50, 100 years ahead of us, right? Because they got an early start. And we're watching how they're devolving.
Wait.
They're about 50, 100 disappearing in the West. It's not just about America. We're all watching Europe and knowing that they're about 50, 100 years ahead of us, right? Because they got an early start. And
50 to 100 years? Is that what he said? Ahead of us in what? In degrading? What is this? What reading of history are you at where all of Europe generalized is 50 to 100 years ahead of us in, 15 to 100 years? Wait, why are people saying 1,500? Wait, what?
We're seeing a lot of these freedoms disappearing in the West. It's not just about America. We're all watching Europe and knowing that they're about 50, 100 years ahead of us, right?
50 to 100 years. Wow, I don't know why you guys are saying 15. You're retarded.
Because they got an early start. And we're watching how they're devolving. And you're trying to save it from happening.
I think he means since America is a young country. What does that mean? So what? We still have to go through our industrial revolution? This is a retarded point.
Here.
No,
it's the Twitter church talking point.
In Europe, they put people in prison for memes.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's insane.
And they're collapsing. This society it's a collapsing society. It feels
European society.
That way.
It feels like
France was nicer 50 years ago than it is today.
Yeah.
I don't think you can question that.
In what way? Can we get an example or quantify anything? What do you mean? How? We know how, but I just want to hear him say it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, really. So
It is today.
yeah.
I don't think you can question that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, really. Thanks. I love you too.
They do love
I mean, I really just wanted to do useful things, like basically build products, provide products and services that are good, and that I wasn't really like that interested in being political. It just like there was at a certain point no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you on the same side of that coin, what's it like from going neutral to being vilified, largely vilified by the media? Like you're.
What? No. Really?
I just like, I mean, I guess in a way I'm part of this world now by watching it, but fuck, I just don't understand. Like if you're a conservative, you're turning on every single media to literally hear the same shit over and over and over and over again. Like you're driving home from work, listening to Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan's talking to some guy about like, yeah, they're trying to cancel comedy and the woke and the border and the trans people everywhere. Like, oh, and then you get home, it's like, what's on YouTube? And Elon was at CPAC. Yeah, so the woke border mob, they were down there with the MS-13 and Haitians were eating dogs to cancel comedy. And it's like, okay, true. And then you turn off and you go upstairs and you go to sleep and you turn on like whatever other podcast or show or whatever you listen to, or a comedian, and he's like, yeah, what's up guys, I'm here, they tried to cancel me but they couldn't, the trans people, woke media, okay, got it. And then you like wake up and it's like it's the same talking points from every single person constantly. It's the exact same printed talking points, like verbatim. Like this is supposed to be the richest man in the world. Can I get something interesting? It's just the same exact copy, pasted, repeated, tired, boring, conspiratorial, whatever. Like even if you didn't think it was conspiracy, but it's like, can we just hear something different? I guess not. It's like the same joke over and over again. Like that one joke, like the trans jokes or whatever.
I mean, you turn on some of these channels, brother. I mean, they're angry at you. Does it bother you at all? Does it get to you? Yeah.
I mean, when they're chanting for my death, I suppose that's a little,
Not good.
But then like the song's not even that good, and it's like you call that a death chant? That's nothing. Please.
They've been singing a lot lately.
It's not even good music.
Yeah. There's a lot of music lately. It's not good music either. Yeah.
Yes.
I would say that watching what you're doing with DOGE is just people love it. I mean, I've always looked at the government and. I've always looked at the government and I've seen this big machine and you just know that they waste because they don't care. There's more money coming, they don't care.
Yeah.
You're cutting all this out. Everybody in this country knows that the government is full of waste, fraud, and abuse. And you're doing the work and the Americans love it. Watching their reaction politically to this, I can't believe how bad they are at responding to this. I don't know how you're gonna sit there and scream and complain because they're cutting waste out of the government and try to win another election. How do you try to win on that?
Well, at this point, I'm not sure how much of the left is even real.
Yeah.
As he speaks from the most botted social media platform in the world right now.
How much was propped up by our money?
Yeah. Like literally, you see like these.
Oh wait, how much? Oh, is he going to do now? Are we doing the talking point? The money from USAID was going to the leftist organizations and then back to the government, back again, and the Reuters and blah, blah, blah by the government, and the government was paying for all of it, and none of it was even real. Is that what we're doing right now?
Fake rallies where there's like hardly any people, and the media will like frame it and like, get all 6 people, in the frame, but there's like nobody else is there. Like just, it doesn't have popular support. But then you learn that like there's hundreds of billions of dollars going to these so-called NGOs.
Yeah.
Hundreds of billions of dollars. Hundreds of billions of dollars.
And it's your tax dollars that are funding things that are fundamentally anti-American.
And they're propping up their narrative.
Yeah.
A lot of that government money has been propping up a left that I don't think is as strong as they made it seem.
In fact, a massive amount of your tax dollars is going to legacy media companies.
Yes.
Yeah.
directly from the government.
The government wants to
Oh yeah, we saw this fake news talking point where like somebody will be paying for Westlaw access, but Reuters is the parent company, so it's like they're wasting money on left-wing media, and it's like, okay.
take over media.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. That's why we have X.
Yeah, and that's
Why you spent $44 billion. I mean, that's a lot of money.
I mean,
more than it was probably worth.
Like, how does a guy this rich not know how much $1 billion is? I wonder if Elon even lives like a rich life. He must have, right? Now I'm trying to think. Maybe he just like has never realized much of that income, like sold anything or borrowed against it. Does he have like a fucking yacht he must have like a private plane. He must. Like, I just don't understand how somebody worth this much money can get the scale so wrong so many times. I just don't understand. It's like the equivalent. This is like the billionaire equivalent of asking, right? Maybe it's like the working class equivalent. Well, you ask like a billionaire, like, how much is an egg or a banana? And Bill Gates is like, I don't know, $10 for a banana, maybe. Like Elon Musk is like, how much money is being wasted by the hundreds of billions? I guess it's like, no, it's not hundreds of billions. Do you know how much money that is? Like even as a fraction of our discretionary spending, hundreds of billions. We're just waste. Really? 10, 20, 30% of our discretionary spending is just waste? Oh, really? That much?
But there was a message.
freedom is priceless.
Priceless. Yeah. Probably one of the most important investments this country's ever seen. If you got to protect the First Amendment, it's not much more important than that.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of criticism, and people said, well, that proves he's a huge idiot from look, he voted for whatever, $44 billion, and now it's worth like 8 cents. And
It's not worth 8 cents.
It was essentially to buy freedom of expression, Once
that's gone, it's all over. It's all over.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Slipped into tyranny is really quick after that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's all the sort of federal money going to media companies is what helps explain why the legacy media all says the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it like, it's like weird? Like,
This is what they do, right? Like all of them have the exact same talking points ready to go at the same time, all the time. But he's like projecting it.
you put them up where it's like, like when
They're mouthpieces for
for the state.
the state.
Yes.
And that's what we've come to know.
Yeah.
It's scary.
And I like that meme where they're
Like, okay, CNN and MSNBC are mouthpieces of the state. Of which state? Of the United States? So is Trump controlling them? If Trump's not controlling them, who's controlling them? Because like Trump is president, so shouldn't we just be able to find out the answer to that? Who's giving the marching orders? Like, you're the president, just find out, do something, figure it out. What do you mean? Who's doing this?
because they're always saying like threat to our democracy, but if you just replace democracy with bureaucracy, it makes a lot of sense.
Makes perfect sense.
Big threat to the bureaucracy.
That's exactly right. Let's
fucking
talk about these DOGE dividend checks that everybody's talking about this week. And I know you tweeted out that you're gonna. Does everybody want like a $5,000 check in the mail? It sounds kind of good, right?
Oh, is that a whole ass conservative audience I just heard cheering for stimmy checks? Was that a whole ass audience that I just heard cheering for stimmy? Did I just hear that? I thought we were trying to cut the deficit.
Does everybody want like a $5,000 check in the mail? It sounds kind of good, right? And the best part about it would be knowing where it came from. That's $5,000 that you sent them last year.
Totally. It's
Oh, that's a good point. One of my favorite things is sometimes I'll go out shopping and like if I buy like $500 of clothes from a store and I see how much they were on like discount, like, you know, like, oh my God, like 60% discount. I was like, oh shit, I saved $1,000. So I didn't even spend money. I actually made money. Like if you go out and you buy things and the things are like off, like if it's discounted more than 50%, you're actually making money by spending money. Did you know that? Like if you buy a thing that's $100, but it's 70% off and it's only $30, you've basically made, because you spent 30, but you saved like 70, so you've made $40, right? So if they're trying to cut future contracts, that's money that they're not going to spend. And then if that's like saved money, it's like basically free money that you can just give to the American public, even though we're still borrowing for it and we still have a deficit and it'll increase the deficit. But that's just like free money. You know, do you follow that? You understand that?
It's money that's taken away from things that are destructive to the country and from organizations that hate you to you. That's awesome.
Does it seem, I mean, have you talked to
that's like
president?
glorious. That's like
It's the best.
the spoils of battle, you know?
I like that. Is there traction on that?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I talked to the president, and he's supportive of that. And so it sounds like, that's something we're going to do.
Yep.
So as we're finding savings, that's going to translate directly to reductions in tax. So.
Yeah.
Except we still have a deficit. So what didn't the Republicans literally just ask for a $4 trillion increase in the deficit, or I'm sorry, in the debt ceiling? So what do we're going to borrow more money to issue stimmy checks to people? Like what?
I think they fired 6,000 people at the IRS today.
Yeah.
And I think Lutnick said last night that they're talking about shutting down the IRS.
Oh, yeah, because why would we want the government to make money to prevent deficits? Okay, base, yes, okay.
I think it's fair. I think people should realize this is.
And during tax season, yeah. So if you have a question or anything gets backed up, now it can be like a fucking 7-week delay. Yes, king shit, yes.
I mean, the amount of money that we send Washington like $5 or $6 trillion a year. That is such an ungodly amount of money. I mean, what do they? They say like a trillion seconds is like 30 years or something like that. I mean, that's how much we send them, and they seem to never have enough. There must be a lot you can cut.
No, absolutely. People ask me, what's the most surprising thing that you've encountered when you go to D.C., when you're in D.C.? And I said, well, the most surprising thing is...
I don't even know how reckless they are with your money. I don't even know what he could possibly say. The nice cars that all the politicians are driving.
The scale of the expenditures, and actually how easy it is to, when you add caring and competence.
Oh, these two retarded f***ing talking points that don't make any f***ing sense. Okay.
Where it was absent before, you can actually save billions of dollars, sometimes in an hour.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
And then they scoff at it and say, oh, a few billion here or there. I mean, the way they're talking about it, you can see they don't care. It's such little money compared to how much they're used to wasting. That's what's really scary.
Exactly. But obviously, it just shows that they really lack empathy for the average taxpayer who's working hard, paying taxes, and then they say, oh, $1 million doesn't matter. I'm like, I think it matters a lot to people, So what are you talking about?
I'd like to have it.
$1 million. That's like, I don't even know. 0.3 cents per person or something. What?
Let me ask you a question. I know the president fairly well, watched him survive 2 assassination attempts. Had the first one not happened, the second one would have gotten him. It was very, because without those extra guys, they would have never seen that gun poking through the fence at the golf course. I saw the crew that you had.
Isn't it like mind-blowing that this has happened? I mean, it just, and what, by the way, why do we still know nothing about that guy in Butler? What's going on? But Cash is going to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way,
Confirmed just a couple hours ago, but I saw that the security detail that you had come in is enormous.
Well, it's not that enormous. Maybe it should be bigger. I don't know.
I think you could probably afford it. But I mean, how concerned are you about your safety? Dealing, I mean, you are a wanted man. Are you nervous?
So, look, I'm open to.
Wait. No, man.
Ideas for improving security. I have to tell you. I don't actually have a death wish, I think. It's not that easy. I mean, but I have I've had even people like President Bukele from El Salvador who managed to put in prison 100,000 murderous thugs. And he was he called me, he's like, I'm worried about your security. I'm like, you're worried about my security? I'm like, what? Okay. That's, you know.
I mean, yeah, talk about guts to do that down there. I mean,
Yeah, totally.
and survive.
Like, I'm like, I was like, how did you put all those thugs in prison without dying? Because it seems like that would have been not easy, you know.
Well, the president has, one of his top attorneys is now investigating, I guess, Chuck Schumer for threats against SCOTUS, a congressman on the Democrat side.
Yeah, yes, the president, yes, investigating members of Congress, yes, democracy. That sounds so democratic.
They're saying, basically saying we're going to bring a war to you, like a fight to you. I mean, the rhetoric, you guys are screwing with things that are not supposed to be messed with. And
we're fighting the Matrix.
There's a lot
big
of
time.
people that really don't want that to happen.
Yeah, we're fighting the Matrix big time here. But it has got to be done.
Yeah.
And
it certainly does. What's going on with? Tell us about Fort Knox. There's Kentucky. It's a military base. It's a ton of gold, tons and tons and tons.
Like 5,000 tons of gold, or
5,000
give or
tons
take,
of gold are there in the ground in like this. I mean, it's a very secure
I think
thing.
we all want to see it.
I'd love to see it.
Like, this is your gold, by the way. It's the public's gold.
Do you think it's not there?
I don't know. But I think
You just want to see it.
Yeah, we want to go see it and just make sure like somebody did spray paint some lead or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, is this real gold? Fight the bar, you know?
Didn't dent.
But I think, honestly, part of this also is just like, let's have some fun and like I said, all this gold at Fort Knox, it's the public's gold. It's your gold. So like, I think you have like a right to see it.
You want to take a tour?
You know? Yeah, I think we should have a tour. And then the president last night was like, I think he's in favor of it. That'd be cool. And then it should be like a live tour. Like, you can see what's going on, open the door, like what's behind it.
Well, and
I think I'd watch that.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah.
I mean, what is 5,000 tons of gold look
totally.
like?
What
How
does
big
it
is
look
that? Is it the size of this?
That'd be pretty
stage? I
big,
mean,
you know?
It's got to be a lot of
Maybe
gold.
there's some other stuff in there. Like, just walk around. Like, I don't know, maybe there's some other stuff in there.
Are you thinking about auditing the Federal Reserve as well, which is obviously
Yeah, sure.
Regulates our
Okay.
economy? I imagine you think the waste has got to be everywhere.
Yeah, no, waste is pretty much everywhere. People ask, like, how can you find waste in DC? I'm like, look, it's like being in a room, and there's target. The wall, the roofs, and the floor are all targets. So it's like you can close your eyes and go shoot in any direction. You can't miss, you know. So it's pretty wild. Like you just push on things a little bit.
I like how there's not like a single answer of substance. Like, have you learned a single new fact in the entirety of it? Like, not one thing of actual interest. Or of actual like, I didn't know that fact before. I didn't know how they did that process before. I didn't understand that thing before. It's all just memes and retarded X talking points.
And you save billions of dollars, like just a little bit, you know? It's wild.
It's scary, isn't it?
That's why I say, like, it really is underrated. If you add caring and competence, how much things improve.
Yeah.
And we just find so many totally crazy things, which, obviously we're sharing with the public. We post everything we learn, so you can see it, you know.
What do you?
And like, it's like, isn't it like it's totally wild? Like we just did like a check the database on Social Security. Like it says how many alive Americans eligible for Social Security are there? And according to the database, it's over 400 million. And we're like, wait a second.
And how many are
how old are they again?
Yeah.
And then like we found like one person in there is like 360 years old. I'm like, what, they know Ben Franklin or something? I mean, America didn't exist before at that time. Like, so maybe it's just me, but I think it's a red flag. I don't know.
But are there indications that there were checks going to those people or any of those?
Oh my God! Did we get one question of substance almost? Oh my goodness! How does he answer that? We don't know. We're still looking into
red
it.
Flag. I don't know.
We don't know. We're looking into it.
Are there indications that there were checks going to those people or any of those people?
Well, yeah.
That's, I guess, the question, right? I get the Social Security Administration's dumb, but are they paying these people? Are they that dumb? I don't know.
A bunch of money is going out from the Social Security Administration, and in fact, from all entitlements.
Yeah. Oh, good one, Elon. Yeah, the SSA does pay out a lot of money. What an astute observation. Good one. Good job. Nice. Very smart.
Those programs.
$72 billion in waste in like 7 years. That's $10 billion a year.
Well, I think the
fraudulent payments.
The rough estimate from Government Accountability Office is over $500 billion of fraud a year.
$500 billion a year from the Government Accountability Office? Why do we even care about the GAO? I thought that was all scam bullshit anyway. $500 billion a year? Okay, buddy.
$500 billion.
And how long at a time?
Per year.
Per year? On Social Security?
No.
Oh, and then is this guy like an actual... He's still playing the stooge part, but even he's like, wait a second. Elon, you're saying some real retarded shit right now.
On all government.
On all entitlements? All entitlements, yeah.
Okay.
It sort of actually makes sense when you look at the thing from a top level and say, like, okay, the $7 trillion of spending by the government, what percentage do you think is fraudulent? Okay, exactly. Like a conservative estimate of the $7 trillion would be 10%.
Really? 10% of all your outlays are waste, fraud, or abuse? That would just be a top of the. You would just assume that immediately. 10% probably.
conservative.
Probably a little higher than that, yeah.
Exactly.
Feels like
So
a quarter out of every dollar, right?
But if the fraud's only 10% of $7 trillion, you've got $700 billion of fraud.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's like really easy to take advantage of the federal government. It's very easy. So,
Very easy. Look at COVID.
Yes.
Everybody got rich during COVID. I mean, look at all these scammers. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Why does this is also another like a god emperor gift of Trump. Trump did the PPP, right? So why everybody talks about the PPP, the payment protection, whatever bullshit, didn't he? Like that started under Trump, right? Why is it that he never gets blamed for that? No, that was the deep state. Okay, by the Trump admin, April 24th, 2020. Why does nobody ever mention his name attached to that? The fuck?
It looks like, in terms of COVID payments, there was something like $200 billion of COVID payment fraud taken by fraudsters out of the country.
Out of the country, yeah.
That's like I think, listen, if there's going to be fraud, it should at least be domestic.
Yeah.
So, you know. But they managed to get $200 billion out of the country. I'm like, what? Didn't we notice that?
Let me ask you, let's do immigration here for a second. There's this move now that Trump's latest thing is that he's going to cut funding, any kind of money that ends up in the hands of illegal immigrants. So if you're funding these sanctuary cities and states, that's how they thrive, right? They're paying for these hotels. That's all federal money. If you got a hotel in your city in New York, you got all these hotels full of migrants, that's not state money. That's the feds are covering that. He's going to cut all that. It's really hard to deport 15 million people. And it seems like the move now is, let's see if we, especially at the rate that we're going, it seems like the move now is, let's make it so that they leave on their own. If there's no longer a dole system for them, if they can't get their hands on hotel rooms and money, they're going to go back, especially if there's no work.
Well, I think it's really
like that's why illegal immigrants come to the United States to take advantage of our wonderful welfare state. Like how, like, I don't even know why I'm saying it. It's just like so on its face fucking retarded. Like let's go to America. They have the best welfare. We can get all the welfare from the United States.
Important for people to understand that the Biden administration sent any possible money that they could if there was money they could send to facilitate and amplify illegal immigration, they sent it. Okay, they took money from FEMA meant for helping Americans in distress and sent that money to luxury hotels for illegal immigrants in New York.
Yeah, I don't think that's how the federal budget works, but okay.
That is an outrage.
Also, wait, so do we like FEMA now, or did we not like FEMA, or?
They actually did that. And not only that, even after the president signed an executive order saying it has to stop, the FEMA, the sort of whatever deep state bureaucrats still pressed send on 80 million.
The deep state bureaucrats? Who are the deep? You are the state. You're the president and DOGE and the lawmakers and who is this deep state? Where is this guy? Somebody find this deep state dude and unplug his fucking keyboard. How does a deep state guy still have the button to fuck over the government? Where is this dude? What the fuck? Who is deep state?
They actually did that. And not only that, even after the president signed an executive order saying it has to stop, the FEMA, the sort of whatever deep state bureaucrats still pressed send on $80 million last week to go to the Roosevelt Hotel in New York and other places last week. And now they're mad that it got stopped, and they're like trying to sue to have it be restored. It's like the gumption.
You think they're creating a new voter class? Would you think that was the goal when they opened up borders for 4 years? Create a new voter class, get them citizenship, get them in. Green cards, vote.
Wait, this is a question we just did today on my on the program I did. Did they open up all the illegals to come in to get a new voter class? How did he how did Harris get less votes than Biden did? How does that make any sense? Where is the logic for this claim? How can that possibly be the case?
A lot of these things, like you don't actually have to assume some grand conspiracy. You just need to look at basic incentives.
Benefits.
So if the incentive,
oh wow, DGG talking point, except used and abused. Fuck you.
Fundamentally, if the probability that an illegal is going to vote Democrat at some point, whether it's cheating, but eventually they can become citizens. But if the probability is like 80-90%, just look at California, which is a supermajority Dem, and then the incentive is to maximize the number of illegals in the country. That is why the Biden administration was pushing to get in as many illegals as possible and spend every dollar possible to get as many, because every one of them is a customer, every one is a voter.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is a giant.
Their argument is they got rid of voter fraud. Wait, so they couldn't stop voter fraud when Trump was president, but they did stop voter fraud when Biden was president? Did the deep state reverse? Is the deep state just whoever is not the president at the time, or?
Voter importation scam.
Pretty obvious.
Very obvious. Yeah. And then moreover, they actually created the CBP1 voter app thing where they were.
Oh God, not the app.
Where they would literally fly people in. It's not like at the point at which people are being flown in at your expense.
Sending planes.
Like building a wall.
Up,
doesn't
fly
matter.
them over the border.
Yeah, they're literally flying them in.
No other country in the world would do something like this. Nobody is this stupid.
Yeah, and we found that there was like a $100 million contract given to some guy in London, actually, oddly enough, for the CBP1 app. So they're flying illegals into the swing states.
Yeah.
And if you've got like
a margin of victory of maybe 20,000 people, and you fly 200,000 illegals into that state. It's not going to be a swing state for long.
Wow.
Change the numbers eventually.
Yeah.
Maybe in 4 or 8 years, you're talking about
It's just a matter of time.
It's a long game.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
So it might take like a year for an asylum seeker or something to get a green card and 5 years for the citizenship. It's an investment that is guaranteed to pay off.
Yeah.
Just a question of when.
They all remember who brought them in and who left them here.
Exactly.
I want to go back. I want to talk about
Biden. Big deal.
yourself.
I think a lot of people don't quite appreciate that this was an actual, real scam at scale to tilt the scales of democracy in America.
It's treason.
Treason.
Yeah.
Treason, true.
One more Biden question. I remember when they would do the electric car stuff, they would always try to box you out, even though you have the only electric car anybody wants. You said, I think this week, that you think that Biden left these astronauts up in space because he didn't want to give you an opportunity to save them, make NASA look bad, make the private sector look better, make you look good. You believe that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, of course.
I kind of agree. Why would he want to let you help them come down when you're supporting the president?
The Biden administration was attacking me next level.
Yeah.
The Department of Justice, or Injustice under the Biden administration, was, there was...
DOI, the Department of Injustice.
suing SpaceX. They're suing SpaceX for not hiring asylum seekers. And we're like...
That sounds like a real lawsuit. I bet they did do that. I bet they sued SpaceX for not hiring asylum seekers. I bet.
It's actually illegal for us to hire asylum seekers because rocket technology is covered under ITAR rules, which means it's an advanced weapons technology.
Yeah.
And so we can only hire permanent residents or citizens.
Right.
So we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. We said, how can they sue us for not hiring asylum seekers when it's actually illegal for us to do so? But nonetheless, there was a big Department of Justice or Injustice case about this.
I love that he keeps correcting it. It's such an epic fucking win. What a lie. And from someone who complains about lack of honesty from the mainstream media. You are fully retarded. SpaceX could have brought them back several months ago. I offered this directly to the Biden administration. They refused. Return was pushed back for political reasons. Idiot. I was the commander of the ISS when Andy Astro Andreas flew his first space mission. He is one of the most competent, trustworthy, and honest people I've ever met. This rhetoric is beyond the pale, but sadly not surprising. He does not deserve this kind of disrespect. Yes, he does. He is an idiot who publicly attacked me despite having no idea what actually happened. By the way, your brother claims to be independent, but is just a Dem donor shill. Hey, Elon Musk, when you finally get the nerve to climb into a rocket ship, come talk to the three of us. Oof.
This against SpaceX. So obviously it was an antagonistic situation. And those astronauts were supposed to be up there for 8 days, and now they're up there for 8 months. Does that make any sense? And we obviously could have brought them back sooner, but they didn't want anyone who supported President Trump to look good, basically.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
A lot of them are saying right now that the reason that you want to get into Social Security, that you want to get into all of these different, into Treasury and things like that, is that you're looking for personal information and you're trying to make more money.
Yeah.
I've never met anybody as rich as you that cared less about money in my life. Every time I hear a story about you, you're sleeping on a couch of some other guy in a city that you could buy the entire thing.
Yeah,
I don't think you care about money, do you?
No, actually, I mean, listen, like if I steal some Social Security, I can finally buy nice things.
Yeah.
You know?
And on that same question, they're also talking about you guys are going to end Social Security, you're going to end Medicare, you're going to end these things. I don't imagine that conversation has been had with the president, and that's the plan.
No, in fact, the actions that we're taking with the support of the president and the support of the agencies is what will save Medicare, what will save Social Security.
Yeah.
True.
Because if the country goes insolvent, if all the money is just spent on paying interest on debt, there's no money left for anything.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I'm doing this, is because I was looking at the big picture here, and it's like, man, our debt's getting out of control. The interest payments, interest on the national debt now exceeds the entire Defense Department budget.
$1 trillion a year in
Yes.
interest, just to carry the money that we owe, is $1 trillion a year.
Wow.
That is unbelievable.
And rising rapidly. So like, a country's no different from a person. Country overspends, country goes bankrupt. Same as a person who overspends goes bankrupt. So it's not like optional to solve these things. It's essential.
It's not the same, because an individual can't usually print their own money, but okay. Thanks for that, Elon.
We're going to go back.
Yes.
We are. Couple minutes left here. Russia. There's a huge push from the administration.
People like sometimes like
to end this war.
say like,
Elon's tweets. I have seen these recently. He's just a full Putin suck now. It's unbelievable. Holy shit.
I'm a bought asset of Putin. Yeah. I'm like, he can't afford me.
I think you're worth more than Russia.
Think about it.
Oh my God, that's so freaking epic. True. That's so true. King.
You're trying to end a war. Ending a war always means you have to compromise, you have to negotiate with an enemy or an adversary. That's just what it is. Mm-hmm. Right now, they are lambasting the president for trying a different method to a war that they haven't been able to end for 3.5 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
They're saying Trump's blaming Zelensky for the invasion. How do you process all of the negativity toward him for trying to end this war?
Well, first of all, I think we should have empathy for the people dying at the front lines. That's the most important thing. And people have been dying, it's like, How many
Why
more
are we
years is
having
this
for
supposed to go
dying?
on?
No, I'm just kidding.
And imagine if that was your son, your father. What are they dying for? What exactly are they dying for? That line the line of engagement has barely moved for 2 years. There's a whole bunch of
Jesus, he's a freaking military expert now too. Oh my God, this guy knows freaking everything, man.
trenches for what? And I'll tell you what for what. It's like for the biggest graph machine that I've ever seen in my life. That's for what.
The biggest.
And I'll tell you what for what. It's like for the biggest graph machine that I've ever seen in my life.
Graph machine? What does that mean?
That's for what. It's unreal. Like the amount of money that is being taken in graft and bribery is disgusting. And so what's actually happening is that those people, those poor guys are getting sent into a meat grinder for money.
The meat grinder.
Yeah, and it needs to stop.
And that's, it seems, Trump is so pragmatic on this. He's just looking at it and he's saying it's Ukraine, it's not our country, it's not a NATO ally. I just want to see people not dying. I want to see on both sides. Think about how so many young men have died in Ukraine that the army is starting to age out. The military is aging out. You got 40 and 50-year-old guys fighting in a war because there's nobody left that's not killed or maimed in their 20s. That's the reality of it. Think about how many people that is. If you're a humanitarian at all, you just got to end the war. No matter what. Just get it over with.
Why don't people just have these? I agree with 100% of everything they just said. It is insane that Ukrainians are dying for no reason. They're literally just wasting their own human capital. The war needs to fucking stop. Okay, it's cringe and crazy that Ukrainian men are still dying. So Russia should just stop the war, right? Why can't it just be like that? I agree with everything they're saying. So Russia should just stop, right?
Yes, they need to stop dying, and the growth machine's got to stop. So. And I think a lot of people out there don't realize, the president has a lot of empathy. He really cares. He's a good man.
I got one more for you. I've been fascinated by you for a very long time.
Thanks. Yeah,
we can tell.
I've never seen anybody that can do so many things at the same time. You got the rockets, you got the cars. I've always wanted to ask you, what is it like inside your mind? Is it just 1,000 miles an hour? Are you?
Yeah.
Is it just not? Does it ever stop? Do you sleep? How much do you sleep? Paint us a picture of inside of the mind of a genius. How do you do all this? Can you answer that question? It's not an easy question. Yeah.
My mind is a storm.
Yeah.
So, it's a storm. But
Can you not give an answer of substance to literally any question ever? Just one interesting answer to anything? This is supposed to be our modern day Tony Stark. This is the wealthiest man in the world. Can you just give say one thing where somebody's like, oh, yeah, this guy's pretty smart. I remember even watching Bezos speaking to Lex. I was like, oh shit, this guy is a pretty fucking smart dude. You could just tell by the way that he spoke. Bezos is a smart guy. Bill Gates is a smart guy. Zuckerberg might be, but he's so PR trained. His whole life, every time he talks about it, he's so PR trained. So it's hard to tell what's going on in Zuckerberg's mind. But at least for Bezos and for Gates, these are smart dudes. I can tell. Can Elon say anything where it's just one piece of insightful shit, please?
let me tell you something. You didn't ask the question, but I think it's worth nonetheless maybe just elaborating on something, which is, I grew up in South Africa but my morality was informed by America. I read comic books, played Dungeons and Dragons, and I watched American TV shows, and it seemed like America cared about being the good guys, about doing the right thing, and
you would be the bad guy. You would be the Lex Luthor in every single. It's so crazy to me, the different interpretations that conservatives can take from media, where it's you understand that you are the bad guy in all of these comic books, right? It's always you. What are you talking about?
That's actually pretty unusual, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like
in the world, it's very unusual.
It's not actually.
Most countries don't do that.
No, they don't.
No.
And so I was like, you want to be this good. You want to be on the side of good. You want to care about what's right. And
I think, I bet Kara seized on this, and that it's a bit of an insight into his mind. It's not about being good. It's about being perceived as being good, which is the most important. That's why his organization is a meme organization, and why he needs ultra high visibility on every single project he's involved in. It's why he's got to be on Twitter constantly. These guys, it's so funny. But in a way, the state of the modern US billionaire is basically an evolution of the teenage girl from 2015 who walked around everywhere with a selfie stick. They're just the older and more kind of pathetic, evolved version of that, where I need everybody to give me all the attention all the time for everything that I'm doing, and literally no part of my life is worth anything unless I'm getting the most attention possible for it. It's insane.
And Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
what I believe in, you know. So
I gave you a tough one at the end.
Yeah. Asking him for some type of insight into his life. That sure was a tough question. True.
yeah. So yeah.
That's great. That's great. Elon
That's
Musk.
great.
All right,
you're the
thank
man.
you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I appreciate it. Thank you.